Hello, my ladies and pretty gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Look What's Happening in the Spiritual Realm with yours truly, Light. Today I have a very positive message, and as you know, I'm your dark reporter, and I seldom come up with happy, positive messages, but today is a very positive message because I have promised some of you that I'll be diving deep into the knowledge of the divine counterparts. And for a very long time, we've been discussing the oppressor, we've been discussing the affianced, and today I got a very clear message, actually yesterday, about the divine counterparts and the role that they have to play. Specifically, for those of you who are receiving this message right now, I'm getting that this is what makes you unaffected and different. It's that some of you are experiencing both sides of the perspective, and this is why things are going to be working out for you cohesively if you consider yourself a divine counterpart. And this is the reason why. You share a thought sphere with your divine counterpart, meaning you aren't in an ignorant state of mind. You understand what the masculine feels and what the feminine feels. And this could be why you may not have completely related with your own gender. You may not have, this message is not for everyone, but for those it is, I have a certainty that it's going to hit in the core. So listen closely. This is why you may not have completely resonated with your own gender. You may have felt that some of the desires that you have or some of the understanding that you have wasn't reflected back to you, or it wasn't shared. You may have had even a very nonchalant or a very unimpacted view that felt a lot more objective than it did subjective. And for some of you, you may have felt very detached, as though you weren't really feeling or caring for the other gender, but it was because you related with them. You understand the other gender in a way that perhaps if you did not have a divine counterpart, meaning if you did not have your own soul and an expression of either a masculine if you're a feminine, or a feminine if you're a masculine watching this, if you did not have the actual expression living and you sharing their thought sphere in the 5D, you may not have had this unbiased or, for lack of a better term, very objective point of view. And this actually really brings me back to some of the concepts that I touched on in my book, Sad Girl. It's a poetry book, but it talks a lot about certain desires that are taboo, certain desires that maybe you might have as a divine counterpart that does not necessarily reflect your gender's predisposition because you come at it from both perspectives. So this is what I'm getting. A while ago, I had a dream. And it had something to do with almost the ancient times where people were coming together in a very celebratory manner, but it felt like it had been delayed for a very, very long time. So what I'm hearing today is that you right now are, I looked up and it was 3-3. You right now are breaking away, or you have the key to a lot of these generational traumas, or a lot of these ambiguities that have been locked away and had been cast into the shadow of your lineage, and that has been ruling over your lineage slowly, subtly, but actually really infiltrating any possible positive growth or any outliner that could have happened. And I'm hearing that you are that outliner. You are that person who actually is receiving the combination, the key to the kingdom as you are here. And this could be why you have been prepared, or you have a counterpart, a divine counterpart, because you're ready. You have evolved to an extent where you could actually absorb this lesson and embody it, because it's a very challenging task. It requires a level of detachment, because when you embody both of these elements, both of these perspectives, a lot of the times people can either misinterpret you or there's an obsessive quality that some people might have towards you, and it's because they can't quite figure you out. They're actually okay with believing that either you're playing some kind of game or you're trying to get them attached, something of that sort. But it's because they're coming at you from only half of the point of view that you can see. And it is the other half of you that you have embodied that you might not even be communicating because you feel outcasted about. It is that part of you that makes them continuously target you or poke at you. And these are people that do not have divine counterparts at this time, simultaneously incarnating, which is okay. But they act as a sort of mirror to continuously show you that you are whole. Not that they're not, but there's a limitation. I almost said an element, but there's a limitation to what they're capable of seeing because they don't have the advantage of pretty much having the opposite gender walking around in the same soul. And this is obviously really about twin flames. Let's not lie. Because this is a concept that's been really abused, and people really do confuse twin flames with soulmates, but it's not the same thing. Not everyone has a twin flame. It's a very rare thing, and it's a very spiritual thing. So this is what I'm getting. In this thought space that you're sharing, there is a rude awakening taking place right now. And I do feel like if you're feeling targeted or attacked, or if there's a certain intensity to the energy that some people are approaching you with, it's because you're heading the right direction. You're falling away from the identification of needing to fear other people's opinion. And when you don't fear opinion of other people, you end up truly attracting some of the worst people to some extent, because it's almost like a trampoline, a jumping off ground that spirit is going to use for you to burn off, or pretty much, burn off everything that's even the smallest detail that might be remaining of some kind of identification that you've made with an ego that no longer serves you, something that you've already shed your skin out of. So, and that, not only that, but another sign is that you will feel as though people really do see themselves in you. There's a very reflective element about you right now. If you're getting this message and if you're resonating with it, and you do believe that you have a divine counterpart, a very reflective element about you, and the waters are very clear, is what I'm hearing, to the point where the impact now of perhaps the absence that you have in not just a divine counterpart's life, but other people that you may have considered karmic, for lack of a better term, is very palpable. There's a very slow-rooted change taking place, and it's a shift that's happening from the very, very core, the root of issues that people are facing. And regarding your divine counterpart, what I'm getting is a sense of the beginning of tasting what accountability is. By that, I mean there's a lot of bad impression that this energy may have left in your life. And to some extent, I feel a sense that a lot of you don't even really associate with it or care to that extent where you're hurting yourself using it. You might even feel liberated at this time to explore new avenues, and a lot of you are. And Spirit is actually really encouraging that, because all of the waiting, all of the possibilities of still associating with some things in the past, they're dead and gone. And a lot of you are not just okay with that, but actually celebrating it. And a lot of things are going to be imbued. Like, there's a lot of things coming into your life that are positive, perhaps even unexpected, in a sense where you might begin to see yourself in a way that you never really expected. And this could happen in flashes, like almost like you can actually feel your body and your presence. Like, this is a sign that your power is coming back into you from wherever it has been scattered, it's coming right back to you. And it might even give you a sensation that you're not quite who you've thought you were, or your body doesn't feel like it is yours. These strange feelings or sensations are actually a very positive sign of being recentered, or of things that have been taken or you've sent out coming back to you in a positive way. So with this happening, a lot of polarity, there's a pull energy coming from your divine counterpart. Not that they're pulling you into them, but whatever is recentering you is pulling them into you. And I don't really associate this in a very positive or negative way. It is an is thing. It is what it is. And the more you go down this path and you see it for the spiritual completion, for lack of a better term, that it is, the more you can actually see the path, and your decisions will be clear. It won't be fogged by the need of some of these base desires that can actually set you several steps back if you are to succumb to them. And that is not your job, especially if you're watching this. Whether you're a man or a woman, you're probably in the feminine side. You're not going to need to do anything. In fact, the less you do, the better. So, this bad impression that I mentioned briefly, I get the sense that there's almost a possessiveness that somebody keeps punishing themselves for. And this divine counterpart, whatever you wish to call it, they don't want to feel the feelings that they've felt with other karmics towards you, if that makes sense. They don't want to be possessive. They don't want to be obsessive, or they don't want to feel what they're feeling in the way that they felt it. And they do not. What they feel is something deeper that is not yet expressible to them, because this is an energy that walks in logic, especially if it's a masculine. This is an energy that believes in what's tangible, what's realistic. So everything that's pulling them towards you is actually, it's almost nonsensical. The feeling is, it cannot be. There's an energy of it like, it cannot be, it makes no sense. I need to explain it either in the terms where it's a physical attraction, or it's a mental interest, or it's because you're enigmatic and I need to figure you out. But really, it's because you're perhaps the only person who understands and not judges them. You're the only person who sees them completely and wholly as what they are, because you share a thought sphere. There's a lot of judgment when you're with a karmic. You cannot show up as your whole self, especially if you have a divine counterpart incarnated with you here at the same time, because a part of you will always be or feel rejected. And that happens because you understand the perspective of the other gender. You might even feel their thoughts and feel the way that they might be sexually attracted. This could be very confusing. Again, I hope this message resonates to those who it needs to, because this is something that I've been building up information and intel on for a little bit before I felt confident to speak about it. You may feel that if you're a man, you might feel the sensations of what it's like to be in a woman's body and you cannot explain it. If you're a woman, you might feel the sensations of what it's like to be in a man's mind and body, even though you cannot explain it. That knowledge, interception, that bond, that union that is taking place in the 5D isn't something that you can break away from. And this is what the divine counterpart is realizing. This is where the rude awakening is taking place right now. And it's happening because of your absence. And when I say absence, I mean the absence of trying to grab a hold of something physical. More so, your realization of who you are, of self, is what's rekindling this energy back into the correct source. So I get a sense that if there were some terrible things that have happened between you and this divine counterpart, there's almost a desire for a very clean slate to take place. And if things that have happened are unforgivable, or unforgivable. Let's just use that term. I feel like it's not them that's making the way, it's spirit. And it isn't because there needs to be a union, because understand, it is already an is thing. It's not something that's supposed to come into being. It's something that has always been and always will be. And this is the concept that your divine counterpart has a very hard time understanding. And you've understood it, but you operate it from the physical world or the physical plane because you share a thought sphere with them. You were almost expressing the things that they were unable to express because you hear them, you feel them, and you thought that what they were feeling, you should be taking action on their feelings. Does that make sense? But that wasn't your role. Now that you're playing your role in the spirit world and you're actually walking in the physical world in your role, that is where the shakeup is happening. And it's a very foundational shakeup. And it's happening in the physical world for your divine counterpart. Whatever it is that they've been clinging onto, whatever it is that they've been logically associated with, it's facing a very deep hardship, and I want to say a cleanse. And for a lot of you, I get the sense that even though you're not doing anything, there could be people that you don't even know that will start to blame you. Because mind you, divine counterparts are not just meant for themselves. They're supposed to shake up the foundation of this matrix. They're supposed to shed light and open the realm of understanding of what it means to be in harmony with nature and its beingness. And this is why I believe, and I've mentioned this before, not everyone in this world should be coupling up and having children. That is supposed to be meant for, now this is just in my opinion, that's supposed to be meant for divine counterparts who are almost unbiased in their union. And I want to say that because, again, they live in each other's world, which is nearly impossible for people who do not have their soul incarnated in another gender. It's nearly impossible for them to see the world of what that gender is like. It's like two different worlds. So this is what makes divine counterparts unique. It's because they share that reality. And this is the thing that interested your divine counterpart towards you. This is the thing that keeps pulling them towards you, even though it makes no sense. They feel a sense that they can rest with you because they feel seen by you. Almost like all the horrible thoughts in their mind, all this unwelcome, psychotic feelings, whatever it is, all of these taboo energy seems to fit in quite easily with you because you share those feelings too. And you might not be able to share them with somebody who is not your divine counterpart. There will always be a part of you that isn't welcome because that is what makes you unique as a twin flame. It's that you are two beings with one soul. You have a very unique perspective in this world that a lot of people need you for. So this is why it's important. This is why spirit shatters the foundation of karmic unions, because they're doing a great disservice, not just to one or two people, but to generations of people. This is why it's impossible to maintain karmic things once the interaction has been made, once the fire has been kindled. So I'm getting that there's been a click that has happened. That's what I've been feeling in November. There's this click that has happened. And a lot of you now literally have, spiritually literally, have the key to this kingdom. You're literally a beaming light in the energetic sphere. And this is why you might be attracting some energies from the depths of hell who might feel a sense of like they need to grab a hold of you. They need to grab a hold of you because you're becoming something that they cannot understand whatsoever. They cannot understand it because you're embodying both the masculine and the feminine. You're literally coming into who you are a complete being that you are. So expect a lot of positive changes. That's all I'm going to say. Like a lot of unexpected positive changes, and maybe even a few surprises, especially towards the end of this year. And whenever you're getting this message, it is supposed to be the right time for you. So as usual, I don't reach out. And if you would like any information about me, whether it's my book, my merch site, blog, which I recommend, and what else? Readings, everything you need to know is in the description box as usual. Until next time, ciao.